If you've been watching anime long enough, you've probably got that one show that you know deep down is complete nonsense. The plot's holding on by a thread. The MC is doing things that would probably get him in prison IRL, and yet you remember it way more than shows that were technically better for some reason. And for me, that anime is Aesthetica of a Rogue Hero. This thing came out in 2012, dropped a 12th episode power fantasy trash banger, then just vanished. And what I like, it wasn't even trying to be clever about it. It went for pure enjoyment over any sort of deep writing or, you know, philosophical texts, and it worked. The main premise is literally just, the main character's, you know, kind of cracked, and he knows it, and, you know, we know it. We're not pretending otherwise. Have fun. And somehow that worked. Alright, a quick recap for anyone who hasn't seen this, or just has forgotten about it since time long gone. Guy gets isekai'd, beats the demon lord, and he's straight up 1v1. Final destination. And right before dying, the demon lord's like, hey, can you take my daughter? Why am I trusting you? Because you're strong. Just don't question it. So he does. And he comes back to Earth already maxed out. No tutorial, just a level 99 DRK from FF14. Gets enrolled in a magic school and that thinks they can control him. They can't. There's no training arc, no learning what it means to be strong. You know, with power comes responsibility. Just straight up raw power and a lot of sass. And then it ends, of course. Light novel, unfinished. Season 2, just a pipe dream, evaporated. And that's it. You're officially caught up on the Aesthetic for Rogue Hero lore. This anime dropped before isekai became a factory line process. Anime was still being pumped out back then, sure, but not like quite like it is now. Not everything was super inoffensive, pretending to be deep, or taking itself way more seriously than it needed to. Akatsuki Osawa is honestly the main reason I remember this show at all, to be honest. The man is not subtle about anything. He knows he's strong, he knows he's attractive, and he knows he's basically a walking hydrogen bomb. Episode 1 tells you everything you need to know. He doesn't panic, he doesn't hide Miyu. Miyu's the demon lord's daughter. He doesn't just pretend to be normal for even a second. He just starts running ones with like 20 different people at once and acting like just an average Tuesday, you know? And what I like is he's not written to be reliable. He's written to be this built, confident powerhouse who knows he's the shit. Something that, you know, a lot of people wish they were. Yeah, don't get me wrong, he's a bit of a Mary Sue at times. Sometimes a lot of Mary Sue. But it genuinely feels like the story was setting him up to be explored more. And then the light novel just starved. Akatsuki really isn't designed to be your classic hero trope. He looked at the Prince Charming, chosen one kind of thing and went, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing actually. Even though technically he is this, you know, very powerful guy that all the higher-ups keep feeling special, he doesn't really act like it. He doesn't give speeches, he doesn't chase validation, he just literally does his own thing. And that's what I like about him. It's a reverse isekai where he goes to another world, wins, then just comes back to Earth. No obvious self-insert, just straight throwing hands. Akatsuki is literally the hydrogen bomb versus coughing baby made into a character. And yeah, even if he's a little too perfect sometimes for, you know, a lot of scenarios, he still stands out to me. In personality, in presence, just in the way he moves through every scene. He is the most unsubtle man you will ever meet. The first 2 episodes do not ease you in at all, really. Akatsuki just starts throwing hands immediately. No warm-up, no just let me explain, just straight shows violence. Which honestly is rare for a harem anime, and it's refreshing to see. It's nice having an MC who isn't this, you know, oblivious brick wall, ignoring every woman and person around him while the plot just drags him along. Akatsuki actually, you know, does things, takes action, and for once, the MC is not interested in the younger character. We used to pray for times like these. A bully shows up, gets thrown through a wall, student council acting up, uniforms just, you know, disappear for some reason. Akatsuki's ability is like kind of a swipe from Dora the Explorer, just on an 18+ swiper, except instead of swiper, no swiping, it's just swiping. Sometimes panties, sometimes other things, but you know, that's not the entire show, I promise. But yeah, it happens. Anyways, the point is, he's my problematic king. Now, when it comes to aesthetic of a Rogue Hero, my hot take is my favorite chip is actually Haruka and Katsuki. Haruka is the green-haired one. And it works because the show just doesn't stop with doing them. They immediately start having history, tension right off the bat. No waiting, you know, 6 episodes just for them to look at each other. Enemies delivers can be really interesting when it's done right. And here it kind of is. They clash, they push back on each other, and you know, some moments they sure actually land. You know, the relationship just kind of moves, which I think they were setting up, but then, you know, the offer for Gore, he was writing a light novel. Now, don't get me wrong, Miyu is also a solid choice. Everyone's favourite pink-haired powerhouse. She's the Demon Lord's daughter. You know, the one that Akatsuki literally took out back. Look at the flowers, George. And the thing I like about Miyu is that she's expressive, reactive, and actually present in scenes. She feels like a character, not just a prop, not just there for the the Ichi aspect. And honestly, most women in the show are like that. They don't feel like cardboard cutouts, the author drags around. They feel like actual people with interesting, personalities interacting with each other. No, don't get me wrong, this isn't me saying it's, berserk level character dynamics. It's very far from that. But as far as harem anime go, it's pretty good. The character interactions are pretty good. No, I mean, obviously, it's a harem anime, there's going to be Ichi. But it's not as aggressively degenerate as something like Testament of Your Devil Sister. I still do not think I've seen a harem anime I would do that show in pure degeneracy. And no, Radio Healer doesn't count. It's just basically softcore hentai with plot excuses. The thing with good harem anime is that it can't only be about that. That's why something like High School DxD works. The plot exists outside of the harem. There's lore, there are stakes, stuff happens when, nobody's getting them quirked up. And it's what separates it from the giant pile of harem slop that comes out pretty frequently. Aesthetica kind of does this too. The problem is, the plot was only starting to kick in right as Aesthetica was ending. If you watch it, you can feel it gearing up. You can see where it wants to go, and then just nothing. The void, they dropped it, and the light novel got dropped as well. And at this point, hoping for a season 2 is saying High School DxD 5 is 100% definitely happening in 2030. It's just pure hopium. Also, pretty quietly bold for its time, a lesbian character. A lesbian character that had an actual character outside of just being the gay one, which is pretty bold for 2012, but it worked really well to add to the cast. It's really just, yeah, they're gay, deal with it and move on. The cast in general is just pretty good, as I said. Everyone feels in place, no one feels like they're just little toys for the author to use. Everyone just interacts well, I think. So, why did this disappear? Not because it was bad per se. Honestly, it just came out at the wrong time. The genre moved fast, studios were moving to other things, and this is before the big shift, before anime was, the popular thing. It was still the weird kid thing. And now the 2 highest grossing movies of the year are anime movies. But back then, that wasn't even an option. So you've got a show that, dropped a bit too early in the West, only gets 12 episodes, adapts a light novel that was never finished, and, lands in a year stacked with genuinely really good anime. So, with all that in mind, it's not hard to see why an unfinished, slightly unhinged harem anime got left behind, which sucks, it really does, because I actually like it, just for the pure enjoyment factor. But, it kind of makes sense. And if you haven't seen it, but you still kind of like the genre, I'd honestly very much recommend it. So yeah, Aesthetica of Rokiro isn't perfect by any means, but it works, it's confident, it's messy, it knew exactly what kind of show it was and didn't take itself too seriously. And that's probably why some people still remember it, because I know I do. And also a reason when people don't. But yeah, I just wanted the app about this. I am curious though, did any of you watch it when it aired? Because I certainly didn't. I'm pretty sure I watched it a bit after 2015 maybe. And did you like it is the question. Or do you think there's any other similar anime that didn't quite get its flowers? I know if there's things like Campione. Campione is also really good, but it's not really harem, it's more just Ichi. But yeah, I just want the app about this for a bit because, I like it. So yeah, usual YouTube stuff. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe.